everyone, and welcome to Season 5, Episode 4 of From Hope to Glory at Truro City with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. So, as we talked about last episode, a couple of the fixtures did get rearranged, so we're not coming back for the aforementioned advertised game. We're coming back for Northampton instead in the SkyBet League 2. Things haven't been going particularly well, but in the big scheme of the season, we're still doing really fantastic compared to where we should have been. Welcome back to Truro City, everybody. As is always the case, new people, if you're out there, if you're joining us for the first time, let me know in the comments below. Say hi. Always welcome you into our United City community. Whether you are a newbie or have been around for a while, click that subscribe button if you haven't already and get involved in the United City community. You can do that through supporting the channel through Patreon or going through my Discord channel and joining the community there. I'm on Twitter as well. All the links in the description below. Check all of that out and click a like button on this episode for me. Helps me get seen by lots of other people, helps me grow the channel. But we're all about Truro City in this particular save, and as I say, things haven't gone brilliantly in the last month, but we're still way ahead of schedule. So here we are. There you can see it has been quite a bit of a downward spiral in the last few weeks. And primarily, I would suggest that more than anything, it's about a disruption from the cup competitions, having to rotate the squad around quite a little bit to maintain some semblance of health and conditioning for the players. And by and large, we've managed to do most of that. But in this period of time, we have also had a bucket load of injuries as well that we've had to deal with, that we'll look at in a little while, exactly who's out and who has been out. But you can see that we have had some losses. We did get a 2-2 draw against Grimsby, couple of wins in there as well, one in the Build Base FA Trophy, which is fine. We got beaten badly by Ipswich, but I really don't care. We rotated the side completely. I wanted out of the Papa John's Trophy and we got out of the Papa John's Trophy. There's too many cup competitions for this level of football. Anyway, all of that means that we're still sitting in third place, which, considering we were predicted 20th at the beginning of the season, it's absolutely fantastic. And I am not in this division in the first season to try and win it, really. I know that that's probably beyond us. But if we could get into the top 7 and qualify for a playoff spot in the first season, that would be absolutely fantastic. So that is currently my aim. We are in it at the moment, but as you see, we've got to find a way to change this form a little bit. The goal scorers have still been out in force. Aaron Hull specifically in the last few games has been doing very, very well for himself. He's got 4 goals in the last 5 games, and you can see that here. The rest of them have gone a little bit quiet, it must be said. Charlie Ball with 1 and Andrew Neal with a couple in this particular match against Oxford City in the FA Trophy. But other than that, it's been a little bit quiet on the goal scorers front. Can we change that today against Northampton? They're currently sitting in 22nd position in the league. So if we go right the way down to the bottom, they're sitting a couple up from the bottom position. So this should be a good game for us to see if we can fill the boots again and get a little bit of momentum back into our run of form that just hasn't quite been good enough. So here we are in the tactics page, and you can see immediately, other than the suspension for too many yellow cards for Whitmore, who's going to be missing for today's match, unfortunately, we have had some really bad injuries. Williams has been out, Knowles has been out, Wright Phillips has been out. We've only just got Divine back from an injury, and so he's only on the bench today, as is the same with Bucock. They've been out for sort of 5 weeks each, and so they're only just coming back. Make the bench today. Duke McKenna is having to play just because we've got nobody else really to do it on the position that we want to play. Everybody else is reasonably fit, but it has been really disrupted over the last few weeks of the season, as you've seen in the results. It's just not quite been good enough, and it's mostly down to these injuries, I would suggest, and a little bit of a drop in form for people like McJanet. Now, McJanet is an interesting one because the club of his parent club, who are Luton, have been having a go at me in the press recently for not playing him in the position that I said I was going to, but as far as I can see, I am. He's only a regular starter, so he's not expected to start every game, but most games, and we've been doing that. You can see that he's played 14 games and scored 8 goals, which is fine, but we've been playing him as a poacher. If we go back to the tactics page, you can see he's on poach attack. So I don't really know what the problem is, because that's what position they're trying to get me to play him in. So it's all a little bit odd, really. I'm not convinced that it's not a little bit of a bug in there somewhere, so I might report that one. But other than that, his form has dropped off a little bit, and you can see that he's playing in a slightly weak role apparently, but I don't really get it. Let's look at the negatives. Playing in a weak role, but it's not really saying much more than that. And I've been playing him in the position that he wants to play in. So, I don't know. It's all just a little bit odd. You can see his poaching position is the top of his role and duty. So, if you've got any ideas as to what's going on there, let me know in the comments below. But I think it might just be a little bit of a bug. The only problem comes, of course, is if Luton decide to recall him from his loan because I'm not playing him in the position that he says he wants to, or they think he should be. That could cause us a few problems. Anyway, that's for another day. For today, we're hoping that he finally gets on the score sheet again after a few weeks of not having done so. Hull is the striker in form, so hopefully he can continue that streak today. We've got a bag load of players missing, couple on the bench that are only just coming back to fitness. So all of that means that for Northampton today in the SkyBet League 2, we've got Roberts in goal, Rogers at right back, Dunlan at left back, Kazoo and Stavrou in central defence, Silla and Walker in central midfield, Duke McKenna on the right, D'Souza on the left, and Hull and McJanet up top, with a bench of Bowery, Fink, Devine, Bucock, Salem, Neil and Ball. So let's get into today's game and see what happens. So we put our hands together and calmly we suggested, I know you've been working hard to end the poor run of form. Today is that day. Let's go and do this. We're away from home against Northampton, but they are struggling this season in 22nd position. So it is a game that I really do expect us to compete well in and just see if we can nick those 3 points and get on the winning run again, which would be really helpful just to get some momentum and motivation back into our play a little bit. It's just been a little bit down recently, but what we talked about early in the season, as we build up an attack in midfield, Walker switches out wide left to Dunlan, and there is McJanet. Fantastic. That is good management. I would suggest put him in, whether he's scoring or not, talk about him before the game, and something then happens. But what I was going to say was, I don't even remember what I was going to say now. What was I talking about? Somebody let me know in the comments below and we'll redress it next time maybe. Can't remember. But McJanet with a really lovely cushioned header from a good Dunlan cross. Oh, please don't put it offside. It's not. That's good. Dunlan has been exceptionally good, actually, since Devine has been out. He played well last season when he was number 1 left back in the Vanarama National League. And he's now sort of the rotating option for Devine, who is a much better player on paper. But Dunlan's come in and done very well. A couple of good free kicks recently. He's taking all of our corner kicks. And there's another one, but at the far post it gets cleared. McJanet's going to pick up the loose ball and reset ourselves. So overall, I've been quite happy with him, but it would be nice to get Devine back just because he is so much better than most of our other players. We tried to go over the top there down the right-hand side. It didn't quite work, but Rogers picks up that loose ball. And that is a really good cross in for Hull to get on the end of. And as long as he didn't move too early on the original chance that he had and stray into an an offside position. That's another good goal. It was a good spot from Rodgers, though. He puts the ball, he sees Hull leave his defender, get a header in. The goalkeeper parries it, but he's there for the rebound and taps the ball into the back of the net for 2-0. And it was a decent ball again from one of our fullback positions. So they're doing all right at the moment, the fullbacks. It's just a couple of other players that we're missing that have meant that we've struggled a little bit. There's a Dunlan free kick. See, all you got to do is mention the players you want to do something and go and do it. What a lovely floated ball in from Dunlan that is. It's a really... Is he offside? Oh, I think he just maybe came back onside just as the ball was being struck. We'll have to check it out because he started in an offside position, just about got back in, and then Stavru with a fantastic finish on the left foot for a central defender. That is quite extraordinary, but another good piece of play by Dunlan. And it's Northampton on the counter-attack on this occasion. They get all the way through, but a good block. I thought it was a block anyway, maybe it wasn't, but he put it wide. Dunlan with a throw-in down the left-hand side. Walker takes over. Now, I'm not quite sure who that was to, but D'Souza makes the most of it. Silla wins the ball back again on the top of the box and then smashes a shot just slightly narrowly wide of that goal on the post, and it goes out for a goal kick. What an interesting ball down that left-hand side it was from Walker, though. Again, it's Northampton with a chance. We've put men forward and they've made us pay for it. Just in the dying minutes of the first half, Ed McCoy gets onto the loose ball. Our fullbacks had been in an advanced position. You can see on this particular occasion, actually they dropped in and then he just hadn't quite dropped in enough. It was the central defender, really, that didn't come across with McCoy and mark him as he was running through. And that's where the problem lay on that particular effort. We do go in 3-1 up after the first half, though. It's been a good first half for us. An XG rating, expected goals of 1.26, and we got 3 goals from it. So we're shooting well above and beyond what they expect us to be. Possession is all right. Passing completion is all right. A few decent shots at goal, few on target, which is good. Overall, I'm happy with the first half. So let's go and pump the fists and say you've played well, but I know there's even more to come from you. And just put them straight back out. We've got Dunlan slightly lower, Duke McKenna and D'Souza again slightly lower in their conditioning. We might have to look out for that in about 20 minutes or not even that. Time is ticking really quickly. About 10 minutes from now, we might have to look at making a couple of substitutions and seeing this game out. 67, 8 minutes. I'm going to pause the game there and just go in and check on the players because there are a couple of low ratings. D'Souza, for one, who we can take out, and he's also low in conditioning. There's a few that have had to play quite a lot recently just because of the amount of injuries we've had. So D'Souza comes out, Salam goes in. We're going to take Dunlan out. He's had a fantastic game, but that conditioning worries me a little bit. So we're going to bring Devine in just to start his rehabilitation process back into the side and get him some minutes under his belt. We've got one more that we can make, and where's a weak link? There aren't that many, to be honest, today, so we could change anybody we really felt like doing. I think what we're going to do is we're going to take Aaron Hull out and put Charlie Ball in and just give him a run out and protect Hull a little bit, who's on a good run of form at the moment, and we want to keep him fit and healthy for the coming matches if we can. So those are the changes we've made. Don't need to change the shape or the style of play unless something happens here. Payne nicks the ball in our defensive area, then absolutely wellies the ball along the floor but hits the side netting, fortunately for us. Devine takes over with the corner kick duties, gets the ball back having been headed back out, crosses it back in again, and one fullback comes off having set up a couple of goals, and the other fullback comes on and continues the trend, and it's a good cross in from Devine. The original corner to the near post gets cleared very easily, really. We should have beaten that first man, but he gets the ball back again. Good sweeping cross in from that point, from slightly deeper. McJanet cuts cuts across everybody. Is there an offside here? No, there isn't. You watch McJanet's run across everybody, and he's surprised everybody behind the defence and got the header on target, and he is back in the scoring form, which is fantastic, just as we talked about at the beginning of the episode, which was really, really great. So a couple of minutes left of the second half, should I say, and I think we're comfortable whatever happens in this kind of attack, but it is Northampton with the ball, sweeping it out wide left for them. Again, they've got some space. We win the back post header, should I say, and that's a good clearance really at this point in the game. Just get it clear, make them reapproach again, and maybe we can get a foot in here and counter-attack, and it looks like we have. A wayward ball leaves Devine on the ball in the left full-back position, starts a good attack. We've gone more central to ball, but he loses the header. McCoy picks it up for Northampton. Again, we clear it though, but only partially into midfield again for Northampton to pick it back up again. Silla, finally, can we settle the play down? Duke McKenna on the ball, gets to run. He chooses not to, puts the ball into ball, and he gets past the defender and really does very, very well. He had a lot to do with that pass in from Duke McKenna, took it very, very nicely, eventually gets past his defender and encroaches on goal. But here's the Duke McKenna pass just at the point where the defender was coming towards ball, so he didn't have much room for movement there, but does enough quick feet to get it out from the defender and then puts it underneath the encroaching goalkeeper. And we go 5-1 up with minutes to go, seconds to go, should I say, in the last dying moments of the game. Can we keep them out and just take it for a 5-1 win? I think it looks like we might be able to, and we're going to do even more, possibly. Duke McKenna with the ball through to McJanet. Hat-trick! Oh, was that his hat-trick? I think it might have been. I don't think he's got it already, but I might have missed something there. But again, it's Northampton with a good opportunity. They don't make the most of it, though. Silla with a good ball through to ball, but he again doesn't quite latch on to the end of it. But again, we pick it up in midfield. They've been quite dominant in midfield today. And then another slightly wayward ball. It's going back and forth, and there eventually is the final whistle. A decent 5-1 win. And how many did McJanet get? Yeah, he only got the couple in the end, so he just almost had that chance for a hat-trick in today's match. Didn't quite make it, but in the end contributed very nicely to a very comfortable win. So what can we learn from today's game? I think what we can learn is, for one reason or another, today, away from home, our players all decided to show up. And you can see some fantastic ratings. 8.1 for McJanet and for Dunlan, 7.3 for Ball, 7.8 for Duke McKenna coming in and playing a slightly different role to normal. He's usually on the left and doesn't play that often. 7.1 for Hull, 7.4 for Stavrou, 7.5 for Devine when he came on. Dunlan was the man of the match, quite rightly so, with a couple of assists, and he has played very well recently. But we did really well. We played very nicely against a weaker opposition. 14 shots at goal, 8 on target, 8 and 3 for them. 2.8 XG rating, which is really great that we got 5 goals from that. You can see the quality of finishing. 55% possession, 78% pass completion. Still would like that up a little bit, but I'm not going to be, overly bothered about that today. If we go and have a look at our cluster of shots, you can see compared to the sporadic ones spread out that Northampton had, we had a lot of very good attempts. We worked the ball very nicely into that box and possibly could have had 1 or 2. I'm looking at that last McJanet chance. In terms of the average positions, we were much higher up the pitch than Northampton were. Northampton's defensive line was sitting well below where ours was, so you can see that we were putting the pressure on them even as the away team. Good amount of action zone percentage in midfield specifically, which really dominated. The likes of Walker and Silla in central midfield I thought played very well in terms of disrupting the play, so that is fantastic. If we go and have a look at more of the shots that we created, so let's just check on ours. These are the 5 goals, all in and around that top of the 6-yard box, and one slightly further out for Charlie Ball. So some good chances created today, and I think that's where we won it. That we'll check out the chances chances created in a second and look exactly where the scoring chances were for us. And I think we did really well off them. Off target, still a few, one from way out, a couple from slightly closer in. These two specifically from McJanet, we would have liked a little bit better from him maybe at that point. The goalkeeper saved a couple and there was one blocked as well. But let's go straight to have a look at the scoring chances, because we did create... did we leave something sitting there? We did. Let's take them out. So we did create these 3 specific chances, clear-cut ones. And you can see that all of our work was coming into those, into that sort of penalty spot, kind of top of the 6-yard box area, which is really good to see. Some really good quality balls in there. So let's see what else we can learn. I was trying to find something specific and I can't for the life of me. That's what I want to do. How many of these came from crosses? They didn't. The passing through was the key ones. The passes, the key passes, these were the ones that were working for us today. Now, why these aren't considered crosses that are getting in, I'm not sure, but they weren't. But you can see all the way around the left and right and through the centre of the pitch, we were doing some good work, but primarily down the right-hand side it seems to have come from today. And ultimately, we did fantastically well. And it was just a case that on this particular occasion, the players just showed up against a slightly weaker opposition. So we took the 3 points. That's going to help us enormously. We did have a couple of games in hand, which I didn't mention earlier in the episode as well. So we are still doing fantastically well. But you saw just at the beginning of this particular episode that the recent results had just dipped a little bit. We needed to address that. And today we have absolutely done that. So here is the updated league table after the game. You can see that we are on 19 played because of all the cup competitions and other bits that we have to play. And so we do have 2 games in hand over Southend, who are currently sitting at the top of the table, 7 points behind. If we were to win both those games in hand, it would put us a point behind. We've still got to play them at some point again, I would suggest, in the remainder of the season. So that's something to look out for as we progress through. But it's looking really, really good, isn't it? Even just for this top 7 position, I'd hope that we'd be able to make it. We're only 4 points clear of the team that are directly outside of it, so it's not a foregone conclusion. But with those, with that game in hand through over most of these direct rivals in the top 7, I hope that we can put ourselves in a position towards the back end of this calendar year where maybe we can start feeling a little bit more comfortable in this sort of area of the table. But just at the moment, there's still an awful lot of work to do. So what are we coming back for next episode? Well, we're going to come back for the last game of the calendar year, the 29th of December 2024 we're currently in, against Stockport. So that's going to be an interesting game to play. Between then and now, we've got loads of games in the SkyBet. We've also got an FA Cup 4th round qualifying match against Stourbridge. Hopefully we can get through that and into the first round proper of the FA Cup. We've got Billericay as well in the FA Trophy, so that should be an okay game for us to play. So hopefully there's a couple of games that we can get through in the Cups as well. But it's that SkyBet League form that we have to continue to work on this sort of result from today and continue to move ourselves forward a little bit and progress in terms of trying to get into that top 7. So all in all, going fantastically well though. Whatever happens this season, I think we're in for a good position compared to where we were predicted. So come back next episode, join me for the Stockport game. I'll update you on everything else that's gone on between now and then. But until then, thank you for joining me today. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Click that like button on this episode if you haven't already. It really helps the channel to grow. Until next time, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.